when I look around and see the good things he does for me. I know I'm not worthy of him all.
It's pretty outside. It's not all that cold.
Not too bad, but it's not good enough to go out on the swing.
For you mean?
Yeah, for me. So, it's been a busy day already.
It is. Go get busier. I got to go get a load of wood pellets for the pellet stove. Get a ton of those. Bring it in. So.
Yeah, and I'm doing the normal cleaning.
How many eggs you getting? 17, 18 a day?
That one time you brought in a baker's dozen at first.
Yeah, that was a week ago.
Yeah, and then you brought 2 dozen even that one day.
Yeah. Well,
Berries.
we've got about 35 chickens, hens, laying hens, put it that way. And about half of them's laying.
Yeah, well, we know that one's sure laying.
Yeah, I got that on video.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty good.
That was a Rhode Island red. I think we got mixture out there. We got Rhode Island Reds, Australorps, Barred Plymouth Rocks, and some Sex Links. And they're all doing pretty good. They all lay nice large brown eggs, and that's what that's what we like.
Yeah, I like the brown. My preference is the brown. Some people like white, but
it tends just to me like their brown ones are a little richer and a little, can I say, more dense inside. So just maybe me though.
Well, I think we've had comments before about there's really no nutritious value in the the brown and the white. But for me, I like the brown because I just do, really.
Well, I don't know how they can check the nutrition value between the two, but it just seems like there's more on your plate with a brown egg to me. I mean, that's just the way I see
Yeah.
it. But, you know, if it come down to it and I was starving, I'd eat a white egg.
Yeah. That's for sure. You'd eat an egg, no matter what
here-
color.
We're at the middle of February here, the 14th, and spring's around the corner, and I'm getting ready to get busier with garden stuff. I've got to put the hooped trellises, fencing for my pole beans up over.
I'm excited about that.
I'm going to make a giant inverted U, and we'll plant the pole beans at the end of each side of that fencing and let them climb. That way Mama and myself can just walk through the center and pick beans.
Especially for Mama.
Well, me too. So. But anyway, that's just one plan for this year. We've got a couple apple trees, dry rooted, out in the cool area of a building out here, and waiting for a good time to plant them. So we're going to do that soon and get them in the ground. Got a Fuji and a Golden Delicious.
Love that apple. And I'm cleaning out the windowsill. I'm going to put a big oblong planter that my daughter had painted for me black and put it in the window, and I wanted to put a couple seeds in the ground inside the house. I guess because I'm getting so anxious for the spring, but also I do like to raise, you know, things in the window, because you can raise a lot of stuff in the house, whether you know it or not, in flower pots and all. You can raise some herbs, and you can raise some lettuce and spring onions all year round, really.
Here a little, there a little.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, though, you know. I didn't know it, really, till years back. So
you really love those apples, huh?
Oh, yes.
That's what Eve said.
So, anyways.
Yeah, well, we've been, we'll do a separate video on this, but we've been homesteading all of our life, you know, all of our married life anyway, in one sense or the other. In the last 15, 20 years, we've got into it heavier with our wood chip garden and stuff like that there. Of course, we've only been doing wood chip garden about 4 years now, and then 3 or 4. But
so wonderful too. It works out really good.
But we've been homesteading, you know, most of our married life, which is going on 51 years now.
May.
Yeah. But anyway, homesteading is more than just raising a garden. Homesteading is taking your livelihood or your self-sufficiency lifestyle beyond your property and into the surrounding wooded areas where you hunt. Hunting is a large part of our homesteading life. 90% of our meats come from the wild. We, you know, venison, we shoot multiple deer every year. We harvest them. They're all legal. We have tags here, generous tag limit in West Virginia. Squirrels, rabbit, things of such, you know, in the woods. Very, very healthy meat for you. Low in cholesterol, low in fats. Very healthy meat. And that's a part of homesteading. I know a lot of folks, they feel like they, poor thing, they don't want to shoot that poor thing. Well, the thing is, it's a type of conservation. Hunting is a conservation. It's conserving the natural resources from overpopulation. Overpopulation only means disease, starvation, depleting a food source, and therefore they'll be starving. So there, with hunting is a very good conservation tool to where it's benefiting the whole herd, maybe not that one particular animal that you harvest, but the rest of the herd is benefiting from it because you're cutting down on the population. And I guess a lot of people feel like boo-hoo, you know, about harvesting that animal for food, but the thing is, you can't pin a human attribute on an animal. They just do not have it. God created man in his image. He didn't create a bear in his image. He created man in his image and gave man dominion over all the animals of the earth to watch over them. Not to abuse them, but to watch over them and conserve them and you know, watch over the population so that they don't overpopulate and therefore have all these diseases and things. We don't just plant veggies in the garden or fruit trees. We do the whole thing.
Whole circle.
It's all homesteading. Hunting is homesteading. Trapping is homesteading. You know, whether I'm trapping for the population control, whether I'm trapping for food. You say trapping for food. Yeah, beaver is a very delicious food. Not only do they have a nice pelt that you can utilize and make a little bit of income, but you can also utilize the meats from that. And muskrat also. They call them marsh rabbit.
Yeah.
It's all up here, you know, and people get this thought in their mind that ooh, muskrat, you know, well, or squirrel looks like a, well, it's a rodent, but I tell you what, you can't find very much better eating out there, folks. Especially if Maw fixes it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think what happens with a lot of people is there are some people that can't handle looking at, you know, a harvest animal, but they can eat it. Out of sight,
out of mind.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. Which, if you go to a butcher shop and you buy a hamburger and you buy, you know, just different meats.
It died somehow, didn't it?
Yeah, those have been harvested, but you didn't see it happen, so you can eat it.
Well, and that's perfect, Mom, because that is just one of the things that if someone wants to extend their homesteading life further, that's something that they're going to have to, how can I say this, get over or grow beyond, is harvesting the wildlife and or watching it being harvested and butchered and prepared. You have to get over that, because what would happen, say, now I'm not a doomsday preacher or whatever, I'm just saying what would happen if the grocery stores would or the system would go down for a little while, or the computers. All it'd have to do is the computers go down, computer system go down, and there all your lots of things stop. The grocery store, you know, they depend on computers. What if that happened? Could you survive a month or 2 months or 6 months on what you know and what you're doing now? So that's where we are. We're in a complete homesteading mode, to where the hunting, the fishing, the gardening, the planting of fruit trees, the raising of livestock that we have, and things as such, we do it all, and we just feel like that is the complete homesteader. And I'm not knocking anybody that doesn't like to hunt. Don't get me wrong. No. But we're just saying how that we, as the Stevens family, perform and how we do it. And it seems to be working very, very, very well. And you can save a bundle of money.
Oh my, yes.
In meats
It's just like I showed my son the other day when I made a kettle of soup. I went back in my pantry, got everything I needed for that soup. And so, yeah.
You either canned it or you dry canned it.
Mm-hmm. I dry
Yeah.
can, I dehydrate, I do all that. Now, you know, and two, you gotta look at it like this. A lot of our listeners and people who watch us, we're the older generation. We've been married 50, going 51 years.
That sounds funny.
I know. But the greatest thing we can do in our lifetime here is help you understand better about the things that we do and the way we live and the reason we live. And of course, the number one in our heart and life is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
He's a nucleus.
Yes, He is.
He's the one that has ordained this homesteading thing. I mean, from the very beginning, it was His plan that we would be self-sufficient and not dependent on everybody else. And I say that, I mean the grocery stores, this and that, or you just walk out here. And people have become, in the last 50 or 60 years, they have become inherently lazy. And I'm meaning that in a derogatory way, but just sit back and if you need something, just hop in the car and go to Food Line or the Acme store or the A&P, whatever, pick it up and come on back and sit down and watch another program. Or, it's even gotten worse now, just get on computer and have Walmart deliver it to your door.
Which we're not against that.
No.
We do get stuff, you know, like,
we,
some cleaning supplies and our, different things, but I hardly ever buy any food from, quote, the grocery store. And if you all see too, you're hearing it on the news, on our
it's not good
computers.
for you.
There's just so much contamination going on right now. It's a scary thing really to go buy something from the store.
And it's not just contamination of, say, like E. coli or botulism, but it's
what they're
the
putting in our
preparations
foods.
of these things. And the things that are deemed organic that are sold, I'll give them this. They raise it organically, but when they sell it to large quantity shippers, they spray it for preservation right there. So that knocks down on the organic mode of that product. Yes, it was raised organic, but once it gets to the big producer, he has to preserve it for so many days so he can get it to his shippers and customers. So he has to preserve it with things that are not very good for you. Unless, of course, a specific farmer that raises their own meat, and you know how they raise it, and we do know one.
That's what I was going to say.
And we do know one, and they do not use any kind of fertilizers or sprays that are not natural to the ecosystem, and they do a large amount of stuff. And sometimes we do buy some things from them, like the big Spanish onions and sweet onions, things like that there, or turnips when they have an overabundance and we want to put some up. If we didn't get a big enough crop, or if we need more to put up, we go ahead and do that.
Yeah, well, that's why I say you can support your local
farm markets,
farm markets and your butcher shops that it's like I said that they
how they do it.
The grain fed and stuff. Yeah,
we have one close by us here. It's a pretty large one. A meat house is what we're saying, a butcher shop, to where it's very large, and we just downright ask them, where do these cattle come from? And they said they're their cattle. They raise them. They raise them, grass fed, and whatever, grain fed from their own fields. So, you have to take them at their word for that. And that being said, that is the only other meats that we buy are the meats that are from these places
Right.
that we know, and we have done our homework, and we know that they're not injected with
Right.
preservatives that are detrimental to your health.
Right.
If you stop and look at it in the last 50, 60 years, cancer has grown more and more and more and more prevalent. And I've got an idea why.
Right. Right. So, but once again, you know, this is Maw and Paul's idea. Not
That's the way
ideas,
we do
but
it.
how we do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to stress that fact. It's how we do it.
This
We're
is-
not knocking anybody or
Nope.
trying to put anybody down for
Nope.
a different way of life. But, you know, y'all seem to enjoy our program. So we thought we would interject a little bit of, you know, what we do here on the farm. Because you youngins, I'm telling you, there's no better way of life than the homestead. And
You might look at us and say, well, they're just old fogies.
right,
Well,
yep,
at least ways we got to be old
Yeah.
fogies. And this is why.
yeah,
You know, the
Mhm.
lifestyle that you live when you're
Mhm.
young will dictate
right.
how you feel when you get older.
hmm
So we're going to go ahead and close with that saying. That was
Mhm.
pretty good, if I have to say so myself. This is Paul,
And this is Maw.
and
We're in the house, in our chairs.
sitting right here talking to you. God
So
bless.
subscribe and push that notification bell. And if you have any comments or questions
Yeah.
that you want to ask us, feel free to do so, because we'd love to hear from you. And we love you all and hope you have a blessed, wonderful day.
And we do appreciate you.
Everybody that watches and listens. So God bless you today.
Have a great day.